I'm running late. The steady ticking of my luxury wristwatch echoes with every movement of my arm as I drive my new Audi through the tree-lined streets of my old neighborhood. My hands grip the steering wheel, and I can feel the nervousness growing as my parents' large, imposing house comes into view. The 6-bedroom mansion seems even bigger than it really is, just by its sheer presence. At 28, I am the youngest marketing director in the company's history. But even so, my stomach churns as if I were 16 and had missed my curfew. I look in the rearview mirror. My blazer is straight, my makeup flawless, my hair perfectly controlled. A true armor. The garage is already full. Brandon's Range Rover, Olivia's SUV, my father's Mercedes. I park on the street, like a visitor. I hardly ever come here anymore, only 4 times a year, and each visit becomes more exhausting than the last. The sound of my heels on the concrete path to the door is precise and firm. I don't knock on the door. I never do. This gesture of belonging requires certain rules. There she is! My mother's voice echoes from the kitchen as I enter. We were about to start without you. No hug, no direct eye contact. Just the familiar aroma of roast turkey and cranberry sauce, accompanied by that subtle feeling of disapproval that always sets in when I'm here. Sorry, client emergency. The lie comes out effortlessly. Better than admitting I sat in my car for 15 minutes, trying to calm down. Always working. My father appears in the hallway with a glass of bourbon in his hand, his eyes assessing my outfit from top to bottom, as he always does. One day you'll find something more important than this job. My smile becomes a little more tense, but I keep it up. Good to see you too, Dad. I walk into the dining room, where I find Olivia arranging flowers on the centerpiece, using my mother's finest china and crystal. Brandon is slumped in a chair, cell phone in hand, not even looking up as I enter. Savannah, my mother says, appearing behind me, go sit at the kids' table. We have a place reserved for you there. The words hit me like a punch in the stomach. I turn slowly, certain I haven't heard correctly. But there it is. The folding plastic table, set up in the corner of the dining room, surrounded by colorful children's chairs and themed paper plates. My nieces and nephews haven't arrived yet. They must be in the basement, judging by the sound of laughter and shouting in the distance. The kids. Table? My voice comes out steady, but I can feel the heat rising to my cheeks. My mother's expression remains unchanged, showing no sign of emotion. We need space at the main table for Gregory's parents. They're joining us this year. She points to Olivia's in-laws, whom I've seen in person twice, at most. I freeze, the memory of this morning flooding my mind. The care I took in choosing my outfit. The extra time I spent doing my hair. The pep talk in the bathroom mirror. Just get through the, day. It's only 4 hours. My apartment felt like my refuge this morning. The award framed on my desk, the notification of my promotion still open on my computer. Maya's voice on the phone. Why are you still going? Seriously, Savannah, what would happen if you just didn't go? Now, between the urge to run away and the feeling of humiliation, I think about protesting. My lips move, trying to form words. But Brandon's expression makes me hesitate. His eyes narrow for a moment, the familiar look. That says, don't make a scene. The same look he gave me when I shared my first exhibition, when I announced my promotion, when I bought my apartment on my own, without their financial help. Okay, the word comes out bitter. I force my feet to move toward the children's table, feeling the stares of others, the conversations continuing as if nothing were out of place, as if this were completely normal, as if it were just a situation written on plastic and paper. I sit down on a tiny chair, my knees almost up to my chest, the table at a strange height that forces me to bend over. My niece's unicorn plate rests in front of me, its cartoon eyes seeming to mock my discomfort. The children come in, their eyes confused when they see me sitting at their table. My 7-year-old nephew Ben tilts his head. Aunt Savannah, why are you sitting with us? I swallow hard, just for a change. At the main table, the conversation continues uninterrupted. Mom leans over to Olivia and asks, "How is the baby sleeping?" My father's voice stands out in the conversation. "Brandon, tell Gregory about that promotion." Glasses clink softly as my father raises his in a toast. "To the family's success," he says, his eyes scanning everyone at the table except me. The adults murmur in agreement, a harmony from which I am excluded. I watch them from my isolation, a cold, heavy realization settling in my stomach. This table, this absurd plastic children's chair, they are the perfect reflection of my entire life in this family. Always on the sidelines, never part of it. Tolerated, never celebrated. My 7-year-old niece, Lucy, knocks over her juice glass, spilling a purple wave across the table and directly onto my cream silk blouse. The immediate chill of the grape juice begins to stain the fabric. "Sorry, Aunt Savannah." Her little face contorts with genuine remorse. "It's okay, sweetie." I try to wipe the stain with a paper napkin, but the material disintegrates against the wet silk. Something breaks inside me, but not dramatically. It's a silent break, like ice cracking beneath the surface of a frozen lake. I stand up, the high chair scraping against the hardwood floor. Calmly, I fold the paper napkin and leave it next to the unicorn plate. Mom watches, her expression frowning. "Savannah, is something wrong with your place?" I don't answer. My steps are steady as I walk to the hallway and grab my coat. Now I can feel their eyes on me, finally seeing me as I prepare to disappear. Some traditions simply don't deserve to be preserved. The door closes behind me with a soft click, instead of the loud bang my trembling hands would have made. Restraint. It has always been my companion. "Savannah, where are you going?" My mother's voice comes through the front window, that tone of controlled indignation that has fooled the country club friends for years. I turn and meet her eyes through the glass. "I'm leaving. Enjoy your dinner." Simple words, no drama, just the truth, stated bluntly and without apology. My hands tremble as I turn the key in the ignition. The Audi emits a soft purr, its vibration calming me as I pull away from the curb. The silence inside the car envelops me, strange and unsettling. 28 years of family Thanksgiving dinners, and I had never left early. My phone vibrates before I even reach the first traffic light. And again. And again. When I'm 3 blocks away, the notifications turn into a continuous buzzing on my thigh. My family's collective outrage transmitted through digital waves. At the red light, I look down. "Brandon, stop acting like a child. Come back." The irony would be funny if it weren't so painful. I was literally sitting at the kids' table 10 minutes ago, but I'm the one being immature. The voicemail indicator lights up. I answer, putting it on speakerphone while I drive. "Savannah." My father's voice fills the car, hoarse from bourbon. "Enough of this nonsense. Come home now." It's not a request. It's an order, as if I were a subordinate, not a successful adult woman. 2 quick texts follow. "Olivia, Mom is freaking out. Come back and talk to her. You're ruining dinner." The family chat explodes with messages. "What's going on with her? She's always been so sensitive. Should we be worried? This is so embarrassing with Gregory's parents here. My departure wasn't meant to cause a scene, but their responses show how little they understand. I didn't want drama. I just wanted a real place at the table. I drive aimlessly until I see the neon lights of a 24-hour restaurant shining against the darkening November sky. The parking lot is partially full, other holiday refugees seeking a place to hide from family obligations. Warmth envelops me as soon as I walk in. Not just physical warmth, but something deeper. The waitress looks up as she wipes down the counter, assessing my designer clothes. The smudge of mascara I feel under my right eye. "Honey, you look like you need some coffee." She doesn't ask what happened or why I'm alone on Thanksgiving. She just slides a mug my way as I settle into the stool. "And maybe a slice of pie?" she adds, her smile genuine in a way my mother's never is. "That would be perfect." My voice falters as I say the words. As I wait, I start scrolling through the photos on my phone. With each swipe, I see another family gathering, where the pattern becomes clear when I finally look closely. Christmas, 3 years ago. Everyone around. The tree, while I stand a little apart, almost cut out of the photo. My college graduation. My parents, next to my brothers, posing in the foreground, while I hold my honors diploma, slightly out of focus. I take a screenshot of a message from my mom from last year. "How's that little job of yours going? Still enjoying playing businesswoman?" Senior marketing director. The youngest in the company's history. But to her, I'm still just playing make-believe. I find my dad's email, sent to Brandon, and Olivia, but accidentally copied to me. Too complex investment opportunity to include Savannah. We know she wouldn't understand anyway. My calendar also shows the standard 8 consecutive family events, where I always sat on the sidelines, at the side table, at the end of the line, or in some cases, literally in another room. The pie arrives, golden crust and tart cherries, as I begin typing my message to the family group. I choose the Christmas photo, the one where I'm partially cropped out, and type the caption, "The perfect family," always making sure the youngest knows her place. I continue typing, my fingers steady now. This isn't just about the table. I've been treated like an afterthought my whole life. When you all truly see me as an equal, let me know. My thumb hovers over the send button. This one action will break 28 years of silence and acceptance. Once I send it, there will be no turning back. No more being the good daughter who swallows humiliation with a smile. I press send. Then I turn off my phone completely. The pie tastes better than any Thanksgiving meal I can remember. I savor every bite, leaving a generous tip before returning to my car. My posture seems straighter, my shoulders more relaxed, now free of constant tension. Savannah Reeves. I turn to find Mark Connolly, my AP chemistry lab partner, now a pediatrician, according to an occasional glimpse on social media. Mark. Hi. He observes my face with silent analysis. You look different. Lighter, somehow. I smile, surprised to realize it's a genuine smile. I finally let go of something heavy I've been carrying for years. He nods, as if he knows exactly how I feel, even though he can never understand what happened today. But maybe he recognizes the universal look of someone who has finally chosen herself after years of self-sacrifice. As I drive home, my home, not theirs, I wonder what will come next. Will I weather the storm of guilt that is surely brewing? Will I give in when my mother cries, or my father threatens? Or will this be the first day of a new chapter, where I finally stand up for myself? The night sky opens up above me, vast and full of possibilities I never allowed myself to see, while I cowered in spaces too small to contain me. I leave my keys in the ceramic bowl near the door, a piece I bought from a local artist to celebrate my first promotion. The sound of the key echoes through my apartment, reverberating off the exposed brick walls I fell in love with 3 years ago when I rented this place without a guarantor, without my parents' approval. My designer blazer slips from my shoulders, weighing me down with the confrontation of the day. Carefully, I hang it in the closet, the memory of my gestures preserving the fine fabric, even as my mind still reels with the seriousness of what I did. I've never left like this before. Never. In 28 years. My apartment glows with the soft light of success they refuse to acknowledge. The marketing award framed on my office wall, the signed prints from campaigns that doubled clients' revenue, the furniture I chose and paid for myself. No inheritances. No help. I kick off my heels and walk across the hardwood floor to the living room wall, where family photos are artfully arranged. Mom insisted on putting them on display during her only visit. So you don't forget where you came from, Savannah. My fingers touch the gold frame of last Christmas's portrait. Brandon and Olivia stand next to my parents, their spouses and children arranged in perfect harmony. And me, a little out of place, a step behind. My smile distant, dull. I lift the frame and remove it from the hook. One by one, I take the family photos down, stacking them carefully on my coffee table. They are not destroyed, just removed from my daily view. The wall now looks strange, empty, but I feel more fulfilled somehow. My cell phone remains dark and silent on the counter, where I left it hours. Ago. The notification light flashes, a bright, accusatory red. I leave it there and open a bottle of wine. Tonight, for the first time in my memory, I sleep without interruptions caused by family anxiety, without the spirals of imaginary criticism at 3 a.m, without mentally rehearsing responses to provocations. Just darkness, peace, and the distant sound of city traffic below my window. Morning light streams through my east-facing windows, creating golden patterns on my bedspread. I stretch, feeling my muscles relax in a strange way after so many years of tension. For a moment, I forget yesterday's turmoil and simply exist in the warmth that surrounds me. Reality returns, and with it, a strange feeling in my chest. It's not the tightness of fear I'm used to, but something lighter, something that dangerously resembles freedom. I take a shower, get dressed in comfortable clothes, and make coffee before looking at my phone. The notification light is now flashing. Non-stop. Messages, calls, voicemails piling up overnight. I take a deep breath and press the power button. Notifications flood my screen, an avalanche of familiar reactions. Father, 6:42 p.m. Where have you been? Call your mother immediately. Father, 7:15 p.m. Your mother is devastated. Fix this now. Mom, 6:38 p.m. Savannah, please come home. We're worried about you. Mom, 8:24 p.m. I don't understand why you're making such a big deal out of this. It was just a table arrangement. Brandon, 7:03 p.m. Nice way to ruin dinner. Mom's upset and Dad's furious. Good job. Brandon, 10:17 p.m. If you thought this would make us respect you more, you're wrong. You're acting like a child. Olivia, 18:55. Where are you? Mom is freaking out. Olivia, 8:42 p.m. Do you realize how selfish you're being? Mom won't stop crying. The messages intensify as the night progresses, with concern turning to anger and eventually direct threats. Dad's last text even suggests reconsidering. Financial support. Support I haven't received since college. My brother questions my mental health. My sister uses family loyalty as a one-way obligation. I read the messages with increasing clarity, seeing the manipulation tactics unfold. The guilt, the psychological manipulation, the collective rewriting of reality, where I become the villain for refusing to accept the unacceptable. Then, a message from someone unexpected catches my eye. Emma, 13, Olivia's daughter. I understand, Aunt. Sav. They make me feel invisible too. My breath catches. I read the message 3 times, my niece's simple words cutting through the noise of the adult's accusations. She sees it too. The subtle exclusion, the devaluation. My phone vibrates with a call. The name surprises me. Aunt Vivian, my father's sister, who walked away from family gatherings years ago. The black sheep, who chose her career over her children and paid the price with her family. Savannah, it's Vivian. Her voice sounds strange and familiar at the same time, a blood connection crossing years of silence. Aunt Viv, it's been 6 years, I know. Your cousin Marcus showed me your message, on the kids' table. She pauses, and I can hear her breathing over the line. I want you to know that you're not crazy. The validation hits my chest like a physical blow. I sink into the sofa, emotions threatening to overflow, trying to maintain my composure. I went through the same thing when I chose my career over children, she continues. Your father and mother couldn't handle my choices, their view, so they simply diminished me. They made me smaller. They put me at the kids' table until I stopped going to dinners. Childhood memories of Aunt Vivian's absence begin to surface. She doesn't care about family, was the standard explanation. A simple answer that absolved everyone else of responsibility. I always wondered why you stopped coming, I admit, my voice soft. almost a whisper. It was for the same reason you left yesterday. Dignity has its limits, Savannah. I pull my diary out of the desk drawer and open it to a blank page. At the top, I write limits in capital letters and, with surprising clarity, begin to list. 1. I will only attend family gatherings where I am treated as an adult, as an equal. 2. I will no longer accept comments that diminish my career. 3. We will meet at a neutral location, not at the family home. The list grows, each item becoming a firm foundation for my self-esteem. When I finish, I call my therapist, asking for an emergency session, and then I call my friend Maya, who answers with instant concern. I did it, I tell her. I finally left. Holy shit, Sav, she replies, her breath heavy with emotion. I'm so proud of you. 2 hours later, I find myself on an online forum for adults dealing with family estrangement. The stories I find are eerily similar to my own. The constant exclusion, the subtle devaluation, the moment of clarity that triggered the change. I am not alone in this. I am not broken or overly sensitive. I am just being human, with perfectly valid boundaries. As the evening wears on, I compile evidence of the pattern. Photos, screenshots of messages, a timeline of incidents stretching back years. I practice my responses to the arguments I already anticipate. I'm not angry. I'm just setting boundaries. It's not about dinner. It's about a lifetime of exclusion. I'm not asking for special treatment. I just want to be treated equally. I arrive at Marcello's 20 minutes early, my heels echoing on the polished marble, as the hostess leads me to the table I specifically requested. Round. No head, no end, no hierarchy, as the furniture itself imposes no superiority. Perfect, I say, sliding the blazer off my shoulders. The fabric is expensive, a strong color that highlights the glow of my skin. Armor again, but this time different. Battle attire, no longer camouflage. I place the place cards with deliberate care. My fingers don't tremble, which surprises me. My position, at the symbolic north head of the table. My parents beside me. Brandon and Olivia on the other side. The geography of the confrontation, now drawn with calm and precision in cardboard and calligraphy. The restaurant murmurs with low conversations, the discreet clinking of cutlery against fine porcelain. I glance at my watch. 7 minutes. I smooth the napkin on my lap, adjust the butter knife, which is already perfectly aligned. 6 minutes. I resist the urge to pick up my phone, to check if anyone has canceled at the last minute. When they arrive together, I don't get up. Savannah. My mother's voice wavers between greeting and interrogation. My father's eyes narrow, assessing the table setting and the cards. Brandon's jaw tightens. Olivia grips the strap of her purse a little tighter. Thank you for coming. My voice is firm. Professional. The same one I use in work meetings, not family dinners. Please, sit down. They hesitate, still caught up in this new, unfamiliar dynamic. But then, one by one, they settle in. No one questions the seating arrangement. First victory. My father clears his throat as soon as he sits down, beginning what sounds like a rehearsed speech. I think we can all agree that family unity is what matters most. We need to get past this incident and focus on healing together. Your father is right, says my mother, her eyes already glistening with practiced tears. This has been devastating for all of us, Savannah. We've always been such a close-knit family. Brandon leans forward, his elbows resting on the table. Some people are just more sensitive than others. There's no need to turn everything into a drama. What Brandon means, Olivia interjects with a tense smile, is that we all love you, and we can definitely find a middle ground without all this drama. I take a sip of water, letting the silence linger until they feel uncomfortable. I prepared for this exact moment, rehearsing in the bathroom mirror until the words came out naturally. I'd like to set some rules for our conversation, I say, placing the glass precisely on the water ring. Everyone will speak for themselves. No one interrupts, and we'll focus on specific behaviors, not character judgments. My father starts to protest, but I raise my hand. He stops mid-sentence. Second victory. For 28 years, I have been systematically excluded from decisions and true participation in this family. The children's table on Thanksgiving was just the most visible form of a pattern that has always existed in my adult life. I look at each of them. Can someone explain to me why a successful 28-year-old woman should sit at a children's table? The silence that follows is heavy. My mother's fingers play with her napkin. My father stares at his water glass as if it holds the answers. Brandon shifts uncomfortably. Olivia stares at her lap. I think, my mother finally says, her voice low, that I never really saw you as a complete adult without a husband. That's how I was raised. A woman becomes a woman when she has a family. My father's response is harsh. In my day, success was about family, not just career. I built something that will last long after I'm gone. Your work isn't the same thing. Maybe, Brandon says, surprising me with his hesitation. I felt intimidated by how easy everything comes to you. You didn't need connections or dad's help, like I did. It was easier to belittle your accomplishments than to admit you did it on your own. Olivia's eyes now glisten with genuine tears, not the usual fake ones. I knew it wasn't fair, the way we treated you. But changing that meant acknowledging my role in it. She reaches across the table, stopping before she touches mine. I'm sorry, Savannah. I really am. I absorb her words, feeling something inside me shift. Not forgiveness, exactly, but acknowledgement. The first real conversation we've had in decades. Moving forward, I say, my voice firm but not harsh. I need certain boundaries to be respected. I will participate in family gatherings as an equal adult. My career and life choices will be respected, even if you don't understand them. I expect my accomplishments to be acknowledged in the same way that Brandon's and Olivia's are celebrated. I clasp my hands on the table. I want to have a relationship with all of you, but it has to be based on mutual respect, or there will be no relationship at all. I will not hesitate to walk away again if the old patterns return. They exchange glances, having a silent conversation from which I have been excluded so many times before. Finally, my father nods. You've certainly grown up, Savannah, he says. The closest thing to approval I've ever received from him. I look him firmly in the eye. I was already an adult. You're just starting to realize it now. The check arrives and is placed between my father and me. I grab it before he can, sliding my credit card into the leather folder without even looking at the amount. The symbolism is not lost on either of us. As the waiter walks away, Mom hesitates and touches my wrist. Do you think it's really possible? To change everything we've always been? The question hangs in the air between us, so honest in a way I never expected. I don't have a simple answer, and for the first time, I don't try to make one up. Is it really possible to change family dynamics that have existed for decades? Or am I just setting myself up for another disappointment? My kitchen is full of movement and conversation, a symphony of life that fills my apartment. The smell of roasted turkey mixes with cranberry and fresh herbs, familiar, yet at the same time renewed. I glance at my designer watch, no longer counting down the minutes to escape, but just noticing that everything is perfectly on schedule. Aunt Savannah, is this enough sage for the stuffing? Lucy is beside me on a stool, her 13-year-old hands carefully measuring the herbs. Perfect. I squeeze her shoulder. You have a natural talent for cooking. The dining table, my table, extends across the living room. A single spacious surface with chairs for everyone. No folding plastic tables in sight. No corner where I'm isolated. Mom appears beside me with a serving dish. Where would you like to put this, Savannah? The question still catches me off guard, even a year later. On the sideboard, please. We'll bring everything to the table together. She follows my instruction, placing the famous green bean casserole exactly where I asked. This small victory still feels huge. Dad is standing near my wine cellar, his glass of bourbon still untouched. That ad campaign you did for the children's hospital? Very impressive. My golf partner's son works in marketing at NYU. He mentioned it. I can't help but notice how he struggles to maintain eye contact, how his fingers tap lightly on the glass. But the words are genuine. Thanks, Dad. It increased donations by 37%. Brandon appears from the living room, now without his cell phone for the first time. Savannah, got a minute? I'm considering a lateral move to Thompson & Brooks. The pay cut would be temporary, but the creative opportunities... He hesitates, the doubt visible on his face. I almost dropped the serving spoon. Brandon asking for career advice? It depends on your 5-year plan. Thompson's digital division is growing rapidly. Olivia approaches, her youngest nestled on her shoulder. Would you mind holding her while I help set up? She's been cranky all morning, but she seems to like you. Without waiting for an answer, she places the child in my arms. Not as if I were a last-minute babysitter, but as an equal, someone she trusts. The baby's weight feels strange but right. We understand each other, don't we? I whisper to the baby, who looks at me with a serious expression. This place is beautiful, Dad comments, gesturing around my apartment. Smart investment in this neighborhood. Mom reappears from the dining area with measuring spoons in her hand. Savannah, could you sit the kids down? She stops mid-sentence, the color draining from her face. The room falls silent. All eyes turn to us. Mom swallows hard, then corrects herself. Actually, I'd love your help getting everyone settled. You always know exactly where people should sit. Our eyes meet, a silent, understanding passing between us. With pleasure, I reply, accepting not only her correction, but what it represents. My best friend Maya emerges from the guest bathroom, her presence at my side now no longer strange, but essential. My father's sister, who has stayed away from family gatherings for nearly a decade, chats comfortably with Olivia's in-laws near the window. I see my niece explaining to Maya's daughter, "My aunt taught us about boundaries," her voice full of pride. I slip away for a moment and stand alone in the kitchen. Last year's humiliation, sitting at the children's table, flashes through my mind. The plastic chair, the plate with children's designs, the physical manifestation of how they saw me. I take my gratitude journal from the drawer and write a single line. Today, I sat at the table I deserve. When we gather for the meal, hands clasped around my table, Dad asks what each of us is thankful for. When it's my turn, I simply say, growth. In all of us. The looks. The cross around the table speak for themselves. Some traditions need to be broken so that new, healthier ones can be established. My place card rests at the head of the table, my name written in my own hand.